The richest cities on Earth have some of the smallest homes. A worker can earn a global salary, live beside trillion-dollar companies, and still sleep in an apartment smaller than a suburban garage. This is not an accident, and it is not only about population. Land, planning rules, transport, investment, and changing households have turned private space into one of the world's most expensive luxury products. For most of human history, becoming richer meant gaining more private space. A separate bedroom, dining room, office, or garden reflected rising living standards and personal success. But in many of the world's richest cities, the relationship has reversed. Economic output and salaries continue to climb, while apartment sizes shrink, even as buyers pay more for less. This creates one of the strangest features of modern urban life: a city becoming wealthier while the average resident controls less private space. It starts with the reality that while a city can produce more software or financial services, it cannot produce more central land. As demand for central districts rises, the price of that fixed land becomes the primary cost. Developers respond by subdividing expensive plots into more units. Smaller apartments allow for financial viability when the ground itself is more valuable than the structure built upon it. Fast transport increases the people who can access a district, inflating property values near stations. Buyers pay a premium for proximity. They are purchasing time. New York's economic concentration creates immense location value. Manhattan real estate commands extraordinary prices, sitting at the intersection of global finance, media, and tech. A compact apartment beside a major station often costs more than a much larger home far from the network. The value isn't found in the square footage, but in the connectivity. Residents accept reduced floor area because the hours saved by living near transport are more valuable than extra domestic space. They are trading private rooms for urban access. Hong Kong represents the extreme. Geography restricts developable land, as mountains and water force vertical density into a few buildable corridors. This geographic bottleneck forces the city to function in 3 dimensions. Residents treat elevated walkways, commercial centers, and public plazas as extensions of their own homes. Paris demonstrates how historic urban form limits supply. Historic preservation laws protect the city's appearance, effectively freezing the central core in time. Because these laws restrict large-scale redevelopment, the absolute scarcity of new central supply pushes prices to extreme premiums. Buyers pay to live inside a protected architectural environment. Whether limited by mountains or historic mandates, absolute scarcity ensures that new housing must be highly compact to absorb intense global demand. London combines global demand with tight planning restrictions. Protected streets and heritage buildings create beauty, but they also limit the speed at which housing supply can increase. Apartment size is often dictated by mortgage capacity, the maximum monthly payment a household can secure from a bank. As construction materials, safety engineering, and labor costs rise, the developer's financial burden increases. They must find a way to stay under the buyer's $500,000 credit limit while still making a profit. The solution is to reduce the apartment's physical footprint. The buyer receives less space, but the total price stays within their reach. This allows headline prices to remain affordable even as the cost per square foot skyrockets. Sydney illustrates this paradox. Even as apartments shrink to lower the entry price, high land and construction costs mean these units remain out of reach for many average earners. Households have fundamentally changed. More people live alone, marry later, and have fewer children. A market built for large families no longer matches the needs of a modern, mobile workforce. In Seoul, young professionals often choose compact studios near employment hubs. For a single worker, a modern, well-connected unit is often a rational economic choice over a long commute from a larger suburban home. Singapore utilizes the amenity trade. Private floor area is reduced to fund shared building facilities like pools and gyms. This shifts the definition of a home from a private enclosure to a lifestyle hub. Residents trade square footage for co-working rooms, roof terraces, and concierge services. For single residents, this trade-off is often a voluntary adaptation, exchanging private interior space for external convenience and social amenities. Compact living supports walkability and energy efficiency. When chosen voluntarily, A well-designed small apartment offers a high quality of life in the heart of a productive city. The challenge arises when families reach the limit of these spaces. The financial jump to a 2-bedroom apartment has become an insurmountable hurdle for many. In dense cities, luxury is no longer defined by gold or marble. The ultimate premium is now space itself, an empty room, a private balcony, or dedicated storage. Efficiency is a functional design choice when it is voluntary. It becomes an economic failure when it is the only option left for those who need more room to grow. Across Tokyo, Hong Kong, London, and New York, the data shows a consistent trend. Small apartments are the mathematical results of cities becoming more productive and land becoming more valuable. As jobs concentrated and construction costs rose, the market adapted. Residents accepted less space to remain close to the opportunities that only these cities provide. But we must eventually ask, how small can a home become before city access stops compensating for the loss of private space? The value of a global salary is ultimately decided by the city where it is put to work.